What's up people, Dazzles here, and it's been a little while since we've had a Thursday video, but we're back and I'm finally going to get around to talking about Spirit Gate, so let's get started. Spirit Gate is a fantasy novel by Elliott and is the first of the Crossroads series, which, they're the big things. Now I've got some thoughts about this book. I enjoyed it. It was a good read. The story is interesting. I like the world. It seems very complex and there's a lot of really little interesting things happening around the place that I really just want to know so much more about. But I have this one massive gripe about Spirit Gate, and that's the perspective that a lot of the story was told from. Spirit Gate is for the most part told from the perspective of just a handful of different characters, all of whom interact in different ways. And while I have no objection to this, in fact, some of my favorite books do this consistently, my issue is that the most interesting characters in the series for me were the ones who got the smallest voices. One of the characters, May, who we meet very early on in the book, is a very interesting character to me and I want to know more about her. But the thing is, she only gets to tell very small segments of the story so far, which is kind of upsetting. A lot of her story tends to be told from the perspective of her uncle, and I'm just not... I would have liked to see more of it from her point of view. The majority of what we learn about her and what we see from her point of view is really about the relationship that she's building with another male character, and that's kind of upsetting for me. And come to think of it, most of what goes down for her character all has to do with, her husband, so yeah, there's that. And she isn't the only really interesting character that this happens to. One of the characters I really just desperately want to learn more about, her entire story was told from the perspective of other characters, and certainly when she was introduced to the story, that makes sense, but for the rest of it, I would have liked to have seen the story from her perspective. My only other real gripe is that it is just a really big read. I think it took me 3 or 4 weeks to get through, and I try and knock through a book in, a week, maybe 2 when I really get into it, but this one, it was some seriously concentrated effort towards getting through it, and while that's not necessarily a bad thing, it was a little more exhausting and the book lasted a little longer than I generally wanted it to. But, some people like that, so what do I know? Big thing is I really enjoy the world that Spirit Gate is set in, and I'm eager to try and learn more about the religions and the gods and what's actually going on in the storyline, because things come to a head but we're not really truly revealed what's going on. Things are going wrong. Very wrong. Just things are going to hell, and we've got little bits and pieces but not a solid idea of what's happening, and that drives me to wanting to read the rest of the series. But on the other hand, it's a really hefty read, and there's just other books that are higher on my list of priorities. If you don't mind a fairly chunky read, then I'd highly recommend giving Spirit Gate a go. As I said, it's enjoyable, it's just not an experience I want to go through more of, so I think I might just, Google the Cliff Notes version. I think I might like that plan. Anyway, that's just my quick thoughts on Spirit Gate. If you've read it, let me know down in the comments below or on Twitter @Dazzles. I'd love to know what you thought of it. If you have any book suggestions, I'd love to hear about those as well. I've got another 9 to get through before the end of the year, so gotta get back into the swing of that. Yeah, I think that's everything. I'm gonna get going because my battery is flashing red at me, so yeah, that's it. Have a good one, and I will see you all in a few days. Bye. One massive gripe about